So this is Mark, and Mark has been modelling for
well, 60 odd years, starting with Airfix kits, 2 bob in a plastic bag. That's when I used to get 2 bob as pocket money.
and what's 2 bob?
2 bob, 2 shillings, um, is, oh blimey,
2
10p, I think, yeah.
bob, 2 shillings. 5p was a shilling. Yeah, so
5p
yeah,
was sixpence.
no, was it? Oh well, there we go. That shows our age. Anyway, onto military models, which is what we're here to talk about, not decimalisation.
Well, not actually military in the end,
Right. Okay.
because one of these, it's a military truck in origin, which is why I eventually painted it green, dark green. But I'm weary of doing military all the time, so I'm going to finally put a final coat blue on.
Oh, so that actually is. But most of the models that you've done in the past have been military models
Yeah,
from World War Two.
World War Two. I feel slightly awkward about, I don't know, my sort of obsession with military stuff.
Why?
Um, because it's not militarism is associated with the right wing politically, and
But it
it's not
wasn't,
my
was it?
thing.
That's a relatively
Didn't
new
used to
thing.
be. I
No,
mean,
that's a relatively
when I
new.
was small, it was, you know, 3 years after the end of World War Two.
Mm,
Um, you were soaked in it. It was
mm,
everywhere.
mm,
If you went through a place like Portsmouth or London, you would still see bomb sites.
mm.
You know, empty cavities like decayed rotten teeth, where something some bomb had dropped and the house had gone, and it was everywhere. Most of our fathers had been in it, and
Yeah. So I
uh,
mean, that's probably, so it's probably quite natural for you to
sort
have an
of,
interest in
sort
it.
of. But these days it's become more. I mean, I once had a huge argument with. It was a relative in my first extended in-law family who also made models, and we sort of correspond on that a bit. And I said I was rather unsure about building a model Harrier. It's shortly after the Falklands War, I suppose, and because it was a war I felt that should never have been fought. And he went apeshit at me for hours, ranted at me, and it took a long while to realise actually he's quite a right wing extremist. So, and I'm not.
You sure?
Yeah,
You checked?
on the whole, check the labels, Cash's name tapes, and it's not. So
So,
this, it comes in a sand yellow colour, a sort of desert yellow plastic colour. So I've sprayed it all with undercoat to get a good fix for the paint. Then I sprayed it sort of rust brown all over. And then I painted over that, brush painted a chipping medium. This thing, which I've never used before. You paint that over, it's all water based, and let it dry. And then I put that dark military green over the top, olive drab over the top, and then I'm going to put this over the top of that. This one's enamel paint because that's what I've got left. And my theory is then that with the chipping medium, what you then do when that's dried, you get a very wet brush like this, if that's something fairly stiff, and scrub away, and it should tipping medium should mean that the two outer coats come away, leaving you with a sort of rust brown effect. So what I'm aiming for is to make it look like a ex-military truck that's been bought by somebody and sprayed up a bit and then just used. So it should end up looking very just heavily used and a bit rusty and a bit ratty and still running, I hope.
so you've done several steps.
Yeah.
I recorded a step yesterday and then haven't been able to use it, so you're going to have to repeat yourself.
So
You started, well, you did. You started off with a white, you washed it in
Oh,
mild
I
soap,
washed it.
then put on a mild white undercoat,
A white white undercoat.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not a a white undercoat.
With an aerosol. Sorry, aerosol.
Don't swear on here. You don't hear me swearing on my vlog, do you?
And then other colours I do with my
Turn that slightly. How many airbrushes have you had?
Oh, blimey. Now you're asking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
This is probably my 7th.
really? Okay. So when you don't work on this sort of thing, which is sort of not your normal stuff, what other stuff do you do? What other scale, what models do you make, and in what scale?
Static.
And whilst I'm going to look over there
Yeah.
and hope there's going to be enough light, you can talk to me about them, but come and stand near the phone so the phone can hear you.
Oh, not project.
Don't shout in my ear though, because it hurts. So this is...
That's a British World War One tanker Mark 5. Mark 5? Yeah. Which got used, I think, at Amiens and other places with a crew planning.
Okay. And this is...
That's an Armstrong Whitworth Whitley, and a rather obscure aeroplane that was used in the early stages of bombing campaign.
Now, you did this really quickly in my terms. You got this
Yeah.
for Christmas and it's already complete. I mean, sometimes you take forever.
Yeah.
So you did this quickly because actually you've just finished this one,
Yeah.
but actually you'd not long finished this one, which
No.
took you longer, didn't
No.
it?
Well, this one's got a full interior.
Right.
I hadn't
Oh,
quite
yeah.
twigged. I mean, I wanted. It's become difficult to get models of those tanks.
Right.
This happened to be one that I could get with a full interior. And what I hadn't quite realised is I spent a lot of time making the interior, and it's barely visible.
Nobody sees it.
No.
But you know it's
But
there.
that was quicker. Don't lean on it.
I'm not leaning on
Because
it.
of the scale, it's 1/72, and 1/72 is I just get less ambitious, so you can't put as much effort into it. This is a bigger scale, 1/48 scale.
And that's
a Lockheed Lighting from World War II, but with a bigger scale, you get more ambitious and try to put more detail into it.
Right. Oh, I want to look at this, but the light's not very good. I want to look at this. That's much better
Does that help?
light. Yeah, talk about it.
But
don't use your finger to point it.
All right.
Okay.
This is a diorama I've done of a Handley Halifax B3 being readied for an operation. Managed to get sort of bits and pieces and vehicles and figures to add to it.
Do you remember what the name of this group of vehicles and figures are? It came as a group, a box, didn't it? Of
some of it was Airfix.
But was it something crew, like refueling? Wasn't it a ground crew? Or is it a mix of refueling and ground crew?
Well, there's ground crew would be part of the refueling team, but it's the aircraft that my father would have flown in, and as far as I can get, I've got the correct squadron codes and serial number for the aircraft, because my father was in the mid-upper turret that you can see in the middle of the airplane at the top.
This one where this guy's looking in?
Yeah, well, he's polishing
Is he?
That's the idea. Okay,
try not to knock your other plane over, dear.
If you would, dear.
I am, dear. Okay, and I've done a video, the introductory video is of the TigerTank.
That's 1/16 remote control.
But this is just to give it, this was to give it an idea of scale. You wanted to put that in a photo, but I wasn't sure it would work.
Well, there's a figure, and that's a Schwimmwagen. Okay. But that's completely static.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to end it here
really?
Because this is just an introductory video,
right.
And then I'll do another video of you.
You don't want to do those other ones over there?
Not yet.
What on there?
Not yet, because of the time. I'm looking at the time, so we'll finish it here, and then I'll do another one of what you want me to do, and then we'll do. So there'll be several. Okay. So this is the first one, which is an introductory video to Mark's modelling in Tales from the Bunker.